everybody, my name is Gervasi, I'm 48 years old and I'm the SSI Sales and Training Manager for Malta, Sicily and Sardinia, and I'm also an SSI International Training Director for recreational scuba.
What got you into scuba diving?
Freediving and speargun fishing brought me into scuba diving. When I was a younger kid, 10, 12 years old, I was living in northern Italy and there were a lot of mountain lakes and mountain streams, rivers, and I always went there with my mask, fins and snorkel to check out the fish, and the beautiful and crystal clear waters and the underwater scenery made me think pretty early that I probably would like scuba diving. So you could say speargun fishing, which I don't do anymore, and freediving was the trigger.
Why did you want to become a scuba instructor?
When I was in my early 20s, I was lucky enough to do my first few diving courses in Southeast Asia. And I thought living and working in these exotic destinations would be actually quite cool. So you could say that triggered it. So I wanted to become a dive professional or an instructor to live and work in exotic places.
How long have you been a dive professional?
I've been a dive professional now 24 years. So 1997 I became a dive professional. I stayed ever since non-stop in the industry, 24 years now, in various positions and jobs. And I hope that it's going to be another 24 years at least.
Where have you been working?
I've worked in Thailand, in the Philippines, in the Maldives, then a short stint on a liveaboard in Australia, which was very beautiful, then in Indonesia also for half a year, and then moving to Europe, I worked in Switzerland, Italy, France, and now ended up in Malta, where I'm currently working.
What are some of your highlights during your career?
There's a lot of highlights in 24 years and hopefully more to come, but definitely one is the first open water course I taught. It was 5 Scandies, I really remember it to this day. And the faces they had after the first open water dive, like they were super happy, super smiling, and that stuck with me, so that's definitely a highlight. On a personal level, I like big fish. I would say the first whale shark in Thailand, definitely a highlight. The first manta ray in the Maldives, definitely a highlight. And on my first liveaboard to the Burma banks in '99, we seen loads of big sharks, and that was a highlight as well. The change to SSI and my current job at SSI are definitely a highlight. And last but not least, having dived with my kids, still diving with my kids, and hopefully doing a lot of more dives with my kids. That is definitely an emotional highlight that is big on the list.
Why, after 17 years, did you change to SSI?
I changed to SSI after 17 years because SSI approached me end of 2013. They had a very interesting project. I liked the way they approached me. I was open-minded enough to, well, listen to the project, inform myself about SSI, and in the end I said yes, and after 17 years I switched to SSI.
Was this change easy?
No, the change in itself was not easy because I was 17 years with another agency. I liked my job, I was earning good money, I met a lot of friends that still are friends to this day, and I was, you could say, comfortable. So it was not easy because everything was so familiar. I had the feeling a little bit like betraying my best friend. And so I had a few sleepless nights. I had really to think about, go over and over again the project and project myself. And it really felt right. It also coincided with a need of change I had after 17 years to go in a new direction. And so I did the change and it turned out to be brilliant. It's now over 6 years and no regrets and only positive things to say. So it was not easy, but I'm super happy I did it.
What is your current job at SSI?
So my current job, more in detail, I'm the sales and training manager for Malta, Sicily and Sardinia. So I'm like the regional manager. Dive professionals and training centers come to me for everyday questions like customer service. If they have an issue with an email address they have to change, or they can call me or they can send me an email. Training and standards related question. How to apply a standard to a certain training program. They can call me or send me an email. I also have the very pleasant job of visiting dive centers and training facilities and pros and bring merchandising, bring like flags, banners, stickers, do a fun dive with them, listen to their everyday worries and trying to find solution. I'm also the business consultant to help them increase their business, and I also am responsible for acquisition of new dive professionals and new training facilities. So if you're interested in SSI, you contact me. And on an international level, I said I'm a recreational international training director. So once or twice a year, SSI calls me, sends me anywhere in the world, and I have to run instructor trainer seminars where we train our trainers and our certifiers, which are examiners. And this is super interesting because it's pro training at the highest level, and I really like that. So that's a little bit my job, more in detail.
Can you explain SSI in more detail?
So, SSI is part of the Head Group. The Head Group owns Head Sports, which is tennis, skiing and swimming. They own liveaboard.com, which is the biggest online liveaboard provider in the world. They own Mares, diving equipment manufacturer. They own Revo, rebreather company. And they own also SSI, us. So we're part of the Head Group. Our headquarters is in Germany, in Wendelstein, where our current CEO, Guido Wetzig, has his office. And we have over 30 other offices worldwide. And we're a founding member of the RSTC, the Recreational Scuba and Training Council, which is also interesting to know. We were created in 1970. And we are the biggest training center-based agency in the world, present in over 130 countries, servicing over 3,300 dive professionals, dive training centers and 50,000 dive professionals, and growing. So we're definitely one of the bigger players in the industry.
What are some of SSI's milestones and achievements in its 50-year history?
The SSI milestones and achievements, definitely 1970 is the milestone, the creation or foundation of SSI. Another early milestone, we are one of the first training agencies in the early 70s that brought out an instructor manual for our dive professionals to support them. So that's another milestone. I would say definitely the takeover of SSI by Guido Wetzig, Doug McNeese and Robert Stoss in 2000, 2001, because they brought SSI in a very important direction. 5 years later, for example, change of 2006, 2007, another milestone came along, the Odin system, Online Divers Information Network, which is today known as MySSI. And then 2014, the takeover by the Head Group definitely is a milestone. And 2015, when we created and launched our EMS system, which is our online platform that is leading the industry, that is really state of the art and is really a brilliant platform. That's the last milestone I would mention.
What are the most common misconceptions about SSI in the industry?
The most common misconceptions about SSI, that as an SSI instructor or professional, you don't find a job very easily. Now think about the last 3-5 years, what happened in the industry as a whole. We grew really a lot. We have so many new training centers joining SSI. We need instructors for the training centers. We need trainers to train these instructors. We are growing as a company, so we employ. So As we speak, if you're an SSI professional now or in the near future and the future to come, you have the highest chances of finding a job. We need instructors, we need trainers to train them, and we also employ staff. So definitely that is a misconception. On a training center level, when I talk to potential new training centers, they have this misconception or this like fear that if they join SSI, they will not have as many customers or they will lose some customers. And again, if you look at our website, we have the dive site locator where all our dive sites in a region are mentioned. We have the dive center locator where all our centers are mentioned. And more importantly, we have SSI's My Dive Guide where it's all tied together. You go, for example, onto Malta and type in Malta, you will see all the dive sites of Malta, you will see all the training facilities of Malta and general information about Malta. You click on a dive site, you see the information about the dive site, you see, for example, the MV Carvela, which is a very famous dive site, and then you see all the dive centers, SSI training centers that dive there. And then you can click on them, and then you have possibility to contact them. So we have a system that is really powerful worldwide that funnels customer through a lot of channels back to SSI training facilities, if you are SSI training facilities. So this is definitely a misconception that you don't need to worry. We bring you a lot of customers. And the last one also, when I talk to potential new pros or potential new training facilities, is that we might lack the structure or the training material or the tools to support our professionals so that they can teach properly the end customer, the diver. Now, as I said, we have a really lean structure, so our support to you will be easy, fast and uncomplicated. You get a reply within 24 hours. Then go on our EMS platform and see how easy it is. The end consumer, the diver, will be super happy with the product you give him through us. And you as a dive professional, you will find all our tools we give you to teach are really up to scratch, state of the art. So again, that's a misconception that has no reason to be there.
If you could go back in time, what advice would you give your younger self starting out in the industry, knowing what you know now? And I
would tell myself, be open-minded, don't be afraid of change, don't look back, the past you cannot change, look into the future, that's where change can happen. And funny enough, that's pretty much the same advice I give to potential new training centers or pros that are interested in joining SSI. I say, be open-minded, try it out. Don't look back, the past is the past, look into the future and see what possibilities there are. So that's the advice I would give myself and new professionals.
And finally, how can someone find out more about SSI?
How you can find more out about SSI? Be curious. Go on our website, divessi.com, and honestly, click onto scuba diving. Click on any course, more information, and you can actually see live how our system looks to the end consumer, the diver. You can check out our online system and you can see how easy it is to switch from one language to the other in no time, how modern and how up to scratch it is. So this is one thing that I really would suggest. And the other one, even more important, contact me. Send me an email or call me on my phone number or on my WhatsApp, and I will set up a Zoom call with you where we can explain you everything you want to know. So this is a very small step you have to take, but don't be afraid. As I say, don't be afraid of change. Contact me, we set up a Zoom call and I answer all the questions you might have.